What's going on, EL2A family? I know all of you are here to watch the Levonda Goodson episode, which is a great episode. Really quick, before you do anything, like, subscribe, and comment. Make sure you're showing some support to this great podcast that you're about to listen to. But also, so this episode, the audio is perfect, but we just want to let you know that the video is lagging a little bit. We had some Wi-Fi technical difficulties and, life, how life happens and things. But we still wanted to get the episode done. So we pushed through. Miss Levonda Goodson, she killed the stage. So make sure you tune in. Again, the audio is great, but the video is lagging a little bit. Just want to let you know. But great episode ahead of you. Make sure you stay tuned.
And so then when somebody comes on the scene and says, hey, our doors are open, we are going to help you get to where you want to be, because that's what this is. This is a partnership. This is not me making patients healthy, or Estella Byrd Whitman making patients healthier, or Estella Byrd Whitman giving resources. This is us working in tandem with the people who actually need the resources. You got to let people know that they can trust you, first of all, because if they don't trust you, I don't care how good the package looks, they're not going to take it from you. So I think that part of that is developing the trust, making sure people know that you're gonna be here, that it isn't gonna be that we establish that there's a problem here and now you're on your own. We want to see them through that. If they need career development, we want to be the hub to help them get to that. If they need, hey, I don't have food in my house, well, we need to connect you with somebody who can help you get food in the house.
Welcome, world. Welcome, family, to another episode of the EL2A Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Gilmore Jr. To the right of me, we got Mr. Military Man, Mr. Miles McConicle. How you feeling today, bro?
Feeling pretty good.
Love to hear, love to hear. To the right of him, we got the Rocket, the Heights of Seven Hills. How you doing, Mr. Eddie Rocket?
I'm all right, man. How about you?
I'm feeling great, man. I love it when you ask me how I'm doing. That
man,
makes me feel great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And to the right of him, we got a very, very special guest, Miss Levonda Goodson from the Estella Byrd Whitman Community Health Center. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you, Jamie.
That was a lot. So appreciate you for having here
Absolutely.
today. This conversation that we're gonna have is gonna be great. What our viewers, I always like to keep it, honest with you, man. We had a lot to get here to this moment right now. All right. So we was at obviously it looks different. You see, we in a different space. Miss Levonda came through here and knocked our internet out with the good energy that she got. So we had to pivot. So what else is life, man? Life, things happen, you just pivot and you make it happen. But now we're here. We're going to have a great conversation today about the great work that they're doing over the center, and just learn more about it, be able to figure out, how us as a community, how we can just figure out how we can do more to help you all. So one thing I want to get right into it. Funny thing, anytime you're about to do, most people, when you're about to have an interaction with somebody, you go to, Google University and you look, see what, you figure out what you see. When I went to Google University, I figured out that from a young age that you wanted to be a nurse. And you were able to actually do that. And that's rare because most people don't, they say they want to be something and they usually don't do anything that they, set out to be.
Right.
And to be someone that set out from a young age, you said you want to be a nurse because you wanted to help people. I think that was your correct words. Mm-hmm. And to be able to have the trajectory in your life to get there, how does that feel? You know what I mean? How does that feel as a person to be able to accomplish what you set out to do?
It feels good. It feels good. I think that, looking back from my childhood to where I'm at right now, I'm blessed.
Mhm.
I think that, staying with it, and it hasn't been easy, but staying with it, it really feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah. So think about this. Most kids, they're not thinking about helping other people.
Right.
Most kids, I want this, I want that,
Right.
and it's about me. You know what I mean? The world revolves about me. So think about, like, I want to help others. Where does that come from? Is that something that, was instilled in your child? Where does that come from?
I think that probably from my parents. I think they poured into my brother and I, and so I think that I've always just had this feeling. My grandmother was an evangelist for probably better than 50 years.
Mhm.
And I think seeing that modeled in front of me, she was always helping, even though she didn't have much herself, she would give you the last.
Mhm.
And I think just seeing that modeled in front of me, it looked like, hey, this is something I want to do. I want to be able to help people. Oh, my grand, probably where that came from.
Yeah. It's funny that when you just said parents. So anytime you see or when you hear about somebody, you can correlate. You can see, I bet they had two parents, and I was already thinking that, and I was like, I bet you grew up in a two-parent household, and I was going to bring that up. In the space that we deal in, that's a lack. What I
Right.
mean, we have a lot of single-family homes with the young men that we deal with, kids that a lot of them don't have their fathers in their life. So being able to bless, and I grew up in a two-parent household, so I knew how fundamental that was to my growth. For yourself, growing up in a two-parent household, how do you think that paid off to who you are today?
I think it's very important. I think, being able to come home and see both my mother and father there every day was important. As a female child, I think sometimes people don't realize that as a girl, I also needed my father,
Right.
to model in front of me, like, what, this is who you want. This is the kind of guy, this is the kind of man that you're going to be looking for. I raised my son on my own, so he grew up in a single parent household. So
Mhm.
I know what it is for a parent to not have both of the parents there. So
Mhm.
I think it definitely is it ranks up there with the top 5.
The same thing with me, having the two-parent household, the dynamic of being able to have the love and nurturing from my mom, but I had an aggressive mom too. She would,
Yeah, me too.
she'd play the radio,
Yeah.
but also being able to have the fundamental of what it looks like to be a man. Well, I
Yeah.
always share with people, like having my dad in the household, I knew what it was like to talk like a man, walk like a man, and how a man dealt with others, and that was so
Yeah.
fundamental to my growth.
Yes.
So that's definitely important. So when you think about going back to you, 24 years in healthcare, so over a span of 24 years, you never thought about doing something else? Like what
Never.
kept you in healthcare for so long?
I love people.
Yeah.
I love people. Everybody has a story.
Mhm.
Everybody's got something to contribute. You just got to dig deep enough to find out what that is. And for that person that is just nobody cares, nobody wants to be bothered with them, that's the person that I'm going after. Like,
Yeah.
that's the one that I want to try to help. So
Mhm.
I never wanted to do anything else.
Yeah. Can you take me on a journey? So right now it's in it's funny. So being on social media, everybody wants to be a what is it, RN, and you see all, so it's
Oh,
like
yes.
trendy to be like a
Yes.
RN and all these different things. Can you talk me like your trajectory? Where did you start, and like what was your path in those 24 years?
So I started in healthcare as a CNA,
Okay.
and I went from that to I worked in that for years, and I actually worked at a veterinary distribution center
Mhm.
here in town. And somebody that I was dating at the time said, "Listen, you need to go to school." And I had always wanted to be a nurse, so I went. My son was in school, and I decided, okay, I'm going to go to school. Got my nursing license, and from there just kind of started working I worked in dialysis, I worked in a private doctor's office, and then about 14 years ago, started in federally qualified health center.
Okay.
And I think then I really realized that I enjoyed being on the decision making side of healthcare, because healthcare is changing.
Right.
It's no longer your bedside, Doc Baker coming in, listening to your lung stuff. There's things that happen before that.
Mhm.
And so being able to be on both sides of that, being able to perform as the nurse and being able to make the decisions, I enjoyed. So then I went and got my bachelor's and my master's in healthcare
Yeah.
administration.
When you think of healthcare, so I'm not the most knowledgeable as far as the ins and outs, but I'm pretty sure over 24 period, the landscape has changed.
Very much.
So what would you say are some of the biggest difference now than when you first got in?
One of the biggest things, honestly, is that bedside medicine is no more. It's I won't say it's no more. People are still going into the doctor and getting seen and so forth, but insurance is regulating a lot of the care anymore. That has changed. Never once back when I was a kid, you could go to the doctor as often as you wanted to. Now insurance regulates how often you actually go to the doctor. Medications and things weren't so expensive in the past to where people had to choose between, do I get my medications? People didn't take them because they didn't want them or they didn't believe in them. Now it's a matter of, do I pay my rent or do I get my medications? So I think, for me, looking at the landscape, it is more that the time has evolved. People are looking, with technology age, people are not necessarily always wanting to come into the office. They want that telehealth option. So that's really the biggest thing, I think, or the biggest things,
Mhm.
is that, insurance is involved now where they weren't before. And you have technology that makes a difference in how we actually practice as professionals.
Yeah. So when it comes to you all, what you do today, where do you see those challenges when it comes to people walking in and out of your space? Do you think that some of the things you just mentioned hinder people coming
Absolutely.
in. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the insurance is huge because there are things you want to do for people. And if you have someone, because some of our patients, our customers are uninsured. So then we have to think about not only that this person has this issue, but what alternatives are out there? Where do we send them? How can we get them the care that they need? They entrusted us to, deal with whatever this issue is. We've uncovered now there's a problem. Now what? So insurance above all has the biggest impact on how we practice, as in this day and age, and in our practice. I don't really know that telehealth is really that much of an issue. We have that option. But really, people really do want to come in and talk face to face with a doctor. It's for a quick, I'm sick. Yeah, telehealth works. But when you have a real problem, you want to talk to somebody. So.
Right. So when you think about 24 years, and we're gonna go a little bit backwards to come back forward. But when you think about this, so you were at the heart of Florida for a while, and so during those 24 years of anything, you become you're expert. You know what I mean? You know the ins and outs of it. So coming into your role that you're in today, so you got appointed into this position. So Miss Adams, she said elected you. I don't know how you found. Did you apply for this? Or did she come searching out for you? How did that go about?
So I was on the board actually for about a year or so. And I don't know. I didn't realize that she was essentially almost doing an interview during that time. And she came to me about maybe 6 months or so before she actually retired and said she was going to retire. And she was thinking, would I be interested in taking the position? And I had to give it some thought. Having been on the job for 14 years, I was comfortable where I was. I had a good position, good salary. I knew that place like the back of my hand, and it was my baby. So, after a lot of praying and everything, I just decided that, this was a step for me. I felt like my season was up at Heart of Florida. Loved the organization. I had groomed in myself, what had been groomed in me, what I'd learned. It was time for me to take that and try to make an impact someplace else.
Yeah, and I've seen through Google University, I seen you said something about being fulfilled. So the work that we do today, I got here because a little bit of my story. I was in a rough spot of my life. I played sports, most of my life. From the time I was 6 to 23, I played college ball. And when football was over, it was like I was lost. I didn't know. I've been doing this all my life. So like you just said, for 24 years, that's 6 to however many years that is, but that's the same amount of time. So when you see yourself, no matter what you say, and a lot of people, they define themselves by what they do. And, somebody would ask me during that time, who am I? I would say I'm a football player, and that's not who I am. That's just what I did.
Exactly.
But now for you, when you transition and you're thinking about all of that time, I see you put, you said you asked God, or you was praying to God to give you something that was fulfilling or that's a purpose. So you feel like you're walking in your purpose now.
I do. I do. And I feel, when I left, my biggest fear is that I would leave that organization and I would have regrets. I would be a month in and be thinking, gosh, what have I done? And we always ask God to give us signs, right? But he gives us signs, but we just dismiss them. And so, he would give me a sign and I'd, okay, are you sure that's the sign? Let me study this a little bit. But, after I got there hasn't been a day. I've been there now 9 months. There's not been one day that I have thought, gosh, I really want to go back to where I was. And I do feel like because I can see the difference that I'm making firsthand. I'm there when people are coming and saying, if you guys weren't here, I don't know what I would have done. When I hear the stories, I read the patient survey comments that come back in, then I know that this is what God has for me at this time in my life. And so it feels good because that's why we're here, right? Like it's you gotta be walking in your purpose. And I like that you said, people would ask you and you say you're a football player, but that's not really who you are, And so for me, I think who am I? I'm Levonda Goodson, who loves people. And I want to help people. At the end of the day, if I make a difference for one person, I can rest at night.
Yeah, man, I love it. And so being a CEO, I understand the whatever word that
craziness.
the craziness that comes with it. And so thinking about coming in after somebody that's the founder that's been there for so many years, and so their footprint is literally marked all across place.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They marked their place with, you know what I mean, their perspective of their image of what they saw for it.
Yeah.
So now you're coming in as a CEO, it's your job to paint the vision for that place.
Right.
So I want to know, kind of get into like the mindset of you coming in, because obviously she's entrusting you with her legacy at this point.
Correct.
She's handing you something she's built up, and now it's your turn. Coming in, what mindset were you in? Like day one, walking into that space, what mindset were you in?
Day one, I think I really wanted, because I'd had a conversation with her at length before I came into the office. And one of the things that I could sense in her was the fear that that legacy would go away. And so I put Levonda's spin on this. How do I build a team that will build off the foundation that was already there and take this organization to the level that she wanted it to go to without stepping on toes or making people feel like, because, you know, when the new person comes in, there's always that, oh, what are they going to change? You know, what now? What's going to happen now? And, oh, she's making all kinds of changes. So I think that my mindset really was just to make sure that I remembered why I was there and what happened before me. And I basically told, you know, Miss Carolyn that, you know, this will always be her baby. I'm just a foster mother.
Yeah.
I'm the foster mother. You birthed this child. This will always be your child, but I'm going to take it now and raise it until I can't raise it anymore. And somebody will come behind me and do the same. But I will continue to build off of your foundation, because your house, right, cannot stand without a foundation.
Sure.
They already laid that. So I'm just now building a new house. That's all.
Yeah. So when you think about the West Ocala area, it's a very unique area, coming from that's out of town and understanding the needs. So when you think about what you all bring, it's a medical desert, food desert. There's so many lack when it comes to that area. So when you all are coming in, so now that you're here and thinking about, so how long has the organization been there?
Actually, since 2009.
2009.
And the building we're in since 2018.
28. So 2009, 2018, you think about those years, there's been years and years and years, and I still think there's a lot of people that don't know
That is correct.
what's going on or do not seek the resources that are over there. Why do you think that's so?
A lot of it is distrust. I think people in the past, you know, may have, and I don't necessarily mean Estella Byrd Whitman. I'm talking just in general. People have made promises. They have said, they've asked questions about what's going on in the community and how can we help and what can we do to fix this? But they don't. You know, and it's not that they are malicious with their asking, or that they're just asking for no reason. Maybe something happened and they can't help. But what that does is build a distrust. And so then when somebody comes on the scene and says, hey, our doors are open, we are going to help you get to where you want to be, because that's what this is. This is a partnership. Sure. This is not me making patients healthy, or Estella Byrd Whitman making patients healthier, or Estella Byrd Whitman giving resources. This is us working in tandem with the people who actually need the resources. Right. You got to let people know that they can trust you, first of all, because if they don't trust you, I don't care how good the package looks, they're not going to take it from you. So I think that part of that is developing the trust, making sure people know that you're going to be here, that, you know, it isn't going to be that we establish that there's a problem here and now you're on your own. We want to see them through that. If they need career development, we want to be the hub to help them get to that. You know, if they need, hey, I don't have food in my house. Well, we need to connect you with somebody who can help you get food in the house, because it's not, medicine for me is holistic.
For sure.
It's not just writing out a prescription, somebody coming in, we check your vitals, give you a prescription, and you're on your way. It doesn't start or end there. And so I think, you know, in especially in West Ocala, you know, our people just in general, we're not very trusting. We're just not, you know, even for me, I'm not from West Ocala, but, you know, so they got to know me. They have to know that I'm real. I am not, when I say to you, I care about what you're going through, I want you to know that you can believe that you can take it to the bank. If I say, I'm going to help you with this, it's done. And I'll stop at nothing to make that happen. And so that, for me, I feel has been one of the biggest problems. Yes, the resources there. We're getting more people in now, but it goes back to being able to people establishing that trust.
And trust, like you say, trust is hard, especially that side of town.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
so some tough cookies. But what do you think approaches that you've been taking? Because you say it's changing now.
Yes.
What did you think got you to that point to start seeing that change? What are some ways that you built are trying to build the trust back?
I honestly, I feel I practice what I preach. I don't believe in when everybody that comes through our doors is a VIP. And that's the way it has to be.
Sure.
The team that we've built, they understand that that's my philosophy. Everybody is going to be treated like they are the most important person at that particular moment, at that particular time. And if somehow, some way that doesn't jive, for lack of a better word, with whomever is on the team, then they won't be on the team. Like, I don't have any qualms about, letting somebody off at the next stop if you can't do it. But I think really is just, for me, when the kids get off the bus in the afternoon and I'm out there, I had to dial it back a little bit because, this is some strange, crazy woman. They go home and tell their mom that this crazy woman is talking to me on the way home. But, I want to see them. I want to know, hey, how was your grades? I know report cards came out, and now this year, because the school year is now started again, I noticed that they're starting to look for me in the afternoon when they're coming off. When the parents are walking their kids to school in the morning, I want to be out there. When I see them walking past, when I'm driving to the clinic in the morning, if you're outside, I might stop and ask you, what's going on? How are you? We have a clinic over here and so on. Where are you going to the doctor? Hey, we're here. If you need something, come in, let us know. But it's getting them to know me. And I think that, I'm not afraid to go to the people.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. I can't be in the neighborhood but not want to be a part of the neighborhood. I can't be up here in this with all the doors all closed and I'm going to be I'm the CEO. No, most of the time when I go I love the Dollar General right up the road from there.
Yeah.
I don't think that lady has any idea that I'm the CEO over there. It doesn't matter.
For sure.
Doesn't matter. We talk about stuff. We have little conversations. I don't want to be treated any differently than I would. I want to be respected. I'm going to respect you. And so I think for me, not that they weren't doing that before, but I think we're doing a lot more marketing. Our director of community relations has done a fantastic job of getting us more out in front of the people. They only had 3 people there before, and that's hard to do with 3 people. So, I think my approach really is that people have to see me. They have to see the sincerity that I have, and they have to know that I will stop at nothing to make this a success. And I just, that's really my approach, honestly. It's just people need to see me.
Yeah, I like it. When you think about the services, so I think that's important too, for people to know. Again, you can see a building, you can hear a clinic, you can hear a health center, but still don't know what you're doing in there. So as far as services, what services do you all offer?
So we are, when I say primary care, that's pretty all encompassing. We do GYN visits, we see children, adults, we do chronic care management, we do education, we give vaccines. We could actually do IV therapy should that be something that the patient was actually needing. We do in-office labs, your basic labs, as well as some of the labs that you would generally go to the doctor for and have to go out to the lab. We draw in-house, and some of those labs we can actually process in-house. So that's what we're doing right now. We are definitely working towards, we're hoping to get some funding from somewhere to install an x-ray machine that was donated to us. Once we get that going, then we can pretty much do what we need to do there. We have a drug assistance program there. So we're pretty, it's a small building, but it's bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside.
Love it. And you guys are a nonprofit, so we know a lot about being in a nonprofit space and what it takes to make the things go. So revenue is a big thing. Me personally, I think, especially here, nonprofits have took such of a, I guess, nonprofit mindset. At the end of the day, it's a business. And you got to run it like a for-profit. And so when it comes to you in revenue, or who is your biggest source of helping this engine go? Because I'm pretty sure it takes a lot to make it go. Like, and what else are you looking for? If there's, because it may be somebody watching that could help out. What else when it comes to revenue and help you all?
Well, we are, so the Marion County Hospital District did fund us. They took a big leap of faith and decided that they would fund us. And so that's a huge percentage of our revenue. We also got another grant from the city. And so we have some funds there from that. And then we're actually billing patients. We do bill insurance. We see insured and uninsured patients. We have a sliding fee schedule. So that's funny. I agree with you that people profit means charity,
Right.
and that's not always the case, you know. So it is a business, and it can be a successful business if it's run that way. And so we do bill the patients, and if they cannot pay, then we still provide the service. But the expectation is that you'll come through the door knowing that you are going to have to pay for this visit. We set very reasonable fee schedules so that people are not, you know, above their means. And if somebody honestly just says, you know what, I just don't have it today, okay, then that's fine. We work around that. But that's kind of where we get most of our revenue from. Obviously, the largest percentage of that is coming from grants. We are in network now with 9 insurance companies, which is a big accomplishment for us for the year. And we're continuing to enroll in other networks once they see how we perform, because it's not just as simple as, you know, calling them up and saying, hey, we want to get in your network. There's an application process. Right. So getting into the networks has been tough, but we've been able to overcome that barrier. Yeah. And we'll keep doing that. We're going to keep doing that. But we had Diva fundraiser. That was really great. It was exciting. We plan to do that again next year. And we will continue to apply for grants. But I mean, we're always looking for somebody that aligns their vision and their mission or their purpose in life with ours. You know, there are tons of missions out there. But if your vision, you see what we're doing, if it looks like it's something that, you know what, I want to be a part of this, then by all means, we will do tours. I will give people so many metrics that they will get sick and tired of metrics, because I know that that's what drives the dollar. Yeah. You know, you got to see where your money's going, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So, and we talked a lot, I think offline, I don't know if you said on camera, but I know you talked about the vision of a new building. When you think about that, what does that look like? What do you invest? Because obviously, even when you see, you already know how it works. It looks in your head, you probably can see it now, what that looks like. So for you, walking into a new building, how does that space look like for you?
It is it's huge in my mind. Yeah. I'm thinking, you know, 3,000, 3,500 square feet, exam rooms, enough exam rooms to where each provider that we have has at least 2 exam rooms. And then we have some what's the word I'm looking for? It's not fall over, but the extra rooms that they need to have. We want to be able to put a small pharmaceutical area in there. We want to be able to have our radiology in there. We want to keep the current building that we're in so that we can offer some specialty services there. And it may be radiology is offered there, and we offer some other things there. But, you know, offices, admin offices where we can have the entire team together, where we can, a place where if we want to host something, we have a conference room. Right now, our conference room doubles as my office. So it's hard. It really is hard. But I believe, you know, we'll do what we have to do in the space we're in until we can do better. But that building, I can see it. You know, I can see the colors. I can see down to the pictures on the wall. Like, I know that it's going to come. I believe in putting it out in the atmosphere. Is that going to come tomorrow? No, it's not going to be here tomorrow, but it is going to come.
Yeah. When you think about because your center was built off of West Ocala, and that's even the mission behind the vision, how the center started from Miss Adams. I think it was her mom, right?
Yes, her grandmother.
Her grandmother, okay. That's who it's named after.
That is correct.
So when you think about that, so it was built for the area of West Ocala. Is that the continued vision that you always would want to serve that area?
Yes, I do. And we always say West Ocala and surrounding communities. Okay. And I say that because, like, for example, we have a patient that drives from Beverly Hills to see us. Wow. And I think that's a true testament to what services we're actually providing. Because services really, for me, it's not about vital signs prescriptions, because any provider who has a license can listen to your lungs, they can write prescriptions and all of that. Service for me is about taking care of the person. And so we do a very good job of that. That to me is that's how we're going to set ourselves apart from anybody, as far as I'm concerned.
What do the hospitals play in the role with you? So when you think about Heart of Florida, Advent, all those, what role do they play with you all? Are you all on the same team in the sense, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Is it like you guys, someone may come to you can't do something, so you send them to them, or how does that relationship work?
So with Heart of Florida really does serve essentially the same amount of people, but technically they are a federally qualified health center. So the federal government has allotted them certain funds. They have certain provisions. They have certain things that they have to adhere to in order to maintain that status. And they are also nonprofit. But the hospitals, in terms of what roles they play right now, they don't really play any role in what we're doing. We do get new patients from the hospital, from Advent. Their Care 360 program has done a great job of sending patients over to us so that we can get them seen within 7 days. A lot of insurance companies require that. And we want to follow up with them. If someone was seen in the hospital for a stroke, you know that them going 2, 3, 4, 5 months without seeing a provider is a problem. And as far as working together, I think that in this community, we have one slice of the pie. One slice. Nobody can eat it all. There are easily 52 in the zip codes, not just the 34475, but there's 3 zip codes that are right there together: 34475, 82, and 79. In those zip codes, there are about 52,000 people who live below the federal poverty guidelines. Only about 2,500 to maybe 3,000 roughly of those people are being served by other health centers right now. So for me, it's not that Heart of Florida is not doing their job. They are. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do, but they're one game in town. They're one slice of the pie, and we all have to work together because this is not a one-man show. And Estella Byrd Whitman isn't going to be able to take the burden off the entire system. But if we go at it full force, they go at it full force, Langley goes at it full force, eventually we're going to be able to make a dent, and we'll have half the pie instead of this whole pie left.
Yeah. If you had one chance to tell someone about Estella Byrd Whitman, just to talk about, I guess, what you all do, or just to bring awareness. You had one shot. What do you want the people to know about the Estella Byrd Whitman Center?
I want the people to know that we are, number one, that we're there and that our doors are open and that we are trying to change lives. We're trying to make a healthier community. We need help to do that because money makes the world go round, and it also makes medicine happen. But I really want them to know that we're trying to change lives. This is not just, this is a career for me. Helping people make a difference in their own lives is a goal that I have, and I'm instilling that into the people that work alongside me every day. And I need for people to know that Estella Byrd Whitman is here. We are not going anywhere, and we want to change lives.
Yeah. So how can we help in that mission? Because here in Marion County, when you look at all the counties in Florida, we're like second to last when it comes down to the overall health of our community.
That's correct.
So I agree with you 100% that, it takes everyone going full force at it. So how do we help make that a reality so that we can increase the overall health in the communities and bring down a lot of those chronic costs that comes with, those chronic illnesses that you were describing earlier with the increase in the insurance, the medicine, and all these other things that's impacting, folks there from their income to all these other things. How do we help, get that message across to really take your health seriously and how to, incorporate better health?
Yeah, that's a great question, Miles. I think honestly, for me, is to have ambassadors. And I say that because we're a team of 7 people. And if 3 people couldn't do it, 7 people can't either. We cannot get the message out to everybody by ourselves. So having ambassadors like you all, that when someone, you run into somebody who doesn't have a primary care provider, put them in touch with us. If you run into someone who maybe they have a question, maybe they're unsure, they're on the fence about whether or not they really need to go see a provider, send them our way, because maybe they don't become a patient today, right? Maybe they say, I don't need that today, but we've got an opportunity to get in front of them. Every opportunity that we have that we can get in front of somebody and get in their ear, for lack of a better way of putting it, to say, hey, this is why it's important to you. If you lead them here, we will, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. So if somebody, I tell people, if you can get them to my door, I can talk to them. We will talk to them. We will, because I've never stopped being a nurse.
Right.
You know, that doesn't go away. So if I'm in the grocery store and I run into somebody, I'm always advocating for the center. So I think, you know, being ambassadors for us, helping us to get the message out, helping people to understand what services, because a lot of people have no idea. They pass that building, but they don't know what we're doing in there. You know, we painted it specifically. That's why it has a red door, because we did a town hall and somebody said, we don't know what the building is. We don't see it, so forth. It doesn't stand out. So we painted the door red.
Yeah.
So we wanted it to be where I want to remove any excuses for anybody to not be able to come and see us. So that would probably be it. You know, when we have town halls and things like that, put those things out for us, because those are open to anybody. Anybody that wants to come to those town halls, we host them every quarter. They're usually at Mary Sue Ridge Community Center at Reed Place, but we do host them every quarter. And it's an opportunity for the community to let me know as the CEO, because I am in the driver's seat. Let me know what you feel like we need.
Speaking of being in the driver's seat, when you talk about legacy is something I think about when you think about the driver's seat. When you think about something you're doing, you've taken on a legacy, but now it's your turn to get in the driver's seat and make your own.
Mhm.
So when you think about, I guess, the end goal, or when what is it, the rubber hit the road, whatever they
Yeah.
say, whenever that is and it's done, what will your legacy be here for the Estella Byrd Whitman Center?
I want us in a new building. I want us to have a brick and mortar building. And I easily want us to be able to see an easy 3,000 patients in a year's time. It doesn't sound like that's a whole lot, but that's a good number. You know, 2 buildings. I don't feel like we need 45 buildings all over the place. You know, it's where 2 or 3 agree.
Mhm.
You know, is kind of my mentality. And so I think my legacy really is that, you know, you had this middle-aged woman show up here and do exactly what she said she was going to do when she came here. You know, and that is, you know, I want to affect lives in such a way that, you know, lifestyle change becomes like a virus. And if I infect you, you'll infect somebody else. And so that's kind of how I want, that's my legacy. My legacy is that I want to take this legacy that was put in my lap and make it everything and more than what the founders could have ever imagined it would be. And I think that starts the brick and mortar building and people, you know, Estella Byrd Whitman being a household name.
Yeah. So it's kudos to you. You know, God bless you for someone that set out at a young age, say they want to help people and set out on a trajectory to help, and even reaching a spot to where you got to, where when we talk about financially, I'm pretty sure you were in a great spot and
Yes.
could even went to higher
Right.
heights, but you
Right.
still chose to take a leap into purpose. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of good heart, just of being a good person to do that. So when I genuinely say that, I appreciate who you are. I appreciate who
you.
you are for our community. Anything we can do to help you, we're here to help you. Just say the
Awesome.
word, and we'll be there. And pushing, especially when you guys have things going on. So definitely appreciate you, and we definitely want to be respectful of your time. So I'm gonna say this: whatever you're doing right now, make sure you stop, like, subscribe, and comment. Best, you got the Estella Byrd Whitman Center. All right, I need everybody to go over there to their and I'm pretty sure she'll give you their social media, to their website, and everything to find out more about what they do here in the Ocala community. All right, fellas, you got anything else for Miss Levonda before you get out?
No, really, I did laugh at the beginning. You said healthcare management. I started that in college and I quit right away. But nah,
It was grueling, but you know,
see, I know I did the right thing.
yeah, but you know, I'm a little bit bossy, but so it was perfect. It
Yeah.
was, I wanted to know how I can get away with being bossy
Yeah.
and say it's the job.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. How about you, bro, Miles?
Just I know it goes without saying, but continue to be in the light, because
Thank you.
we need it in the community. And thank you for elaborating on how we can help you move forward and just bring overall increased quality of life to our community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Same thing, man. We just want to get that spotlight in the sense. Spotlight to what you all are doing. It's great work. It's needed. There's so much more we could have went into, and we'll find other times to
Yes,
dive
of
a little
course.
deeper. But this is just the introduction
Yes.
to who you are. So we're gonna do great work. But what I'm gonna have you do. So this is your camera right here. So before you
Okay.
leave, I want you to look in your camera. We always ask the guests to give, first of all, let people know where they can find you, if that's the website. website, social media, how they phone number, however you want to do, but also leave with a word of wisdom, whatever that is for you, is you could choose.
Okay. Wow. Word of wisdom. So you can reach us either by phone at 352-875-2226, or our website is ebwchc.org. You can go to Facebook, Estella Byrd Whitman Community Health Center. We are on Facebook, and like us there and follow us. Words of wisdom. Wow, Jamie, you put me on the spot. I think words of wisdom, I honestly would probably be for you to remain true to who you are. And, that would probably be it. Remain true to who you are. And as long as you are being sincere, being yourself, everything else will fall into line. Everything falls in line when you're being true, sincere, and true to who you are.
And your words of wisdom came right to who you are. Again, someone that set out for beyond to help it be a nurse, you did it, you stayed true to who you are. So again, God bless. And to you all, appreciate you for watching. We're gonna see you next time.
Thank you.